everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Or if you're new, then welcome again. Obviously, you can see from the title what we're going to be talking about, the red flags. Okay, I was just talking to a friend about this earlier this week, about this guy she went on a date with, and she was like, you know, he was really this, he was really that, but I did see a few red flags. And when she told me what the red flags were, I was like, you know what, I should do a video about all of the major red flags that women should look out for. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Men, guys, I'm sorry, this is really not a video for you. It really doesn't apply to you. Yeah, we're all about the females right now. So you can exit stage left or send to a friend, leave me some hate comments, do what you do best. But here, today, we can be focusing on the ladies. So hopefully this video can help you speed by some of the headache that can come along with dating and trying to find your match, trying to find your boo, okay? I'm really in a good mood today. Let's go. So, red flag number one, and to me this is like ultimate red flag, okay, is possessive behavior, jealous behavior, okay? If you just started talking to somebody or dating somebody and they coming out the gate with, where you at? What are you doing? Who you with? I don't like you talking to her. I don't like you being friends with him. I don't like you being da-da-da-da. And y'all just met. Even if y'all didn't just meet, you should never let anybody do that to you, because such a slippery slope. It's such a slippery slope that you don't want to go down. It's never going to turn out well. I know some girls, like I have a friend who is actually attracted to like that jealous behavior. That's like one of the things that she likes. She just makes it feel like a person cares about her. But let me tell you, honey, eventually that shit will get tiring. Eventually, after year after year after year after year, nobody ain't trying to deal with somebody clocking their every move. You didn't text me back fast enough. Who are you with? What are you doing? That oftentimes leads to like low-key abuse, maybe high-key abuse, but also sometimes low-key abuse, you know, like mental, emotional, verbal abuse, sometimes physical abuse. So just really be careful. If you noticing stuff like that straight out the gate, there's no reason why a man should ever feel like he owns you and needs to know every single solitary thing you're doing every minute of the day, or can dictate what you have going on, who you have it going on with. And yeah, it is your personal choice as the boss beauty that you are to divulge that information or share that information if you so choose. You don't owe it to anybody to tell them anything. You don't need to change who your friends are because of a person. That's your own personal decision. If you are starting to date somebody and you're seeing little stuff like that, I think even my younger self, when I would notice little things like that, I never really thought it was a big deal. I just thought, you know, like, oh, you know, he doesn't like me doing that. Like, it's almost like a person showing you how much they care about you or something. But as I got older and I got wiser and I had more experience, I very quickly learned that that's not okay. So I would definitely say red flag number one, jealousy, possession, any type of controlling type behavior, dead it. Dead it. By the way, if you have noticed any red flags, okay, if you found any red flags from years of dating and making mistakes like we all have, make sure that you drop them in the comments so your other sisters, okay, your other sisters can avoid these same mistakes. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. All right, let's resume. I need to get my lips on. Number two is y'all go out on a date, or he asks you on a date and he doesn't pay. Now, I know this is controversial, but here's my personal opinion. If a man asks you out on a date, he should always pay for the date. Period. There's no arguing about it. There ain't no going half. There ain't no you pay the bill and I'll pay the tip. You're paying the whole bill. Especially if y'all are smashing, why isn't he paying for your shit? It's about the fact that as a man, he should want to take care of you. I know this is controversial. I know it's controversial. I know there's gonna be people who don't agree or who think I'm this or that or whatever, but I don't care. I said what I said. These guys be out here dating outside of their budget. Like, no. You know you're going on a date with Beyonce, you got $20 in your bank account, you gonna mow some lawns, you're gonna go and do a paper route, you're gonna go pick up some trash, you're gonna do whatever you gotta go do to make sure that when you go on this date with Beyonce, that you come in correct. Am I lying? So your man should see you as Beyonce. My father wasn't a millionaire growing up, but you better believe that he did whatever it took to provide for my mother and our family, period. Unless you are going into marriage territory and you are budgeting your money together and trying to figure out, you know, other strategic plans about how you're gonna manage your money together, who's gonna invest into what, who's saving what amount, percentages, whatever the case is, that's different. But if you are in the dating, simply the first, second, third year, whatever, of just regular dating, this is your boyfriend, why is he not paying for your bill? Also, let me just add that I understand that people don't always have the money. You might be young, maybe he's working a couple jobs, maybe he's saving for a car, maybe he's doing this or doing that. I understand that. If you're going to be dating though, maybe you would go on a night where the movies are cheaper so that you can afford to pay for both her ticket and your ticket. Maybe you're gonna go to Applebee's instead of going to, and I mean, everybody's taste is different, but let's say you're gonna go to Fridays on, I don't know, Friday $5 wings or whatever if they have a special, or you're gonna be resourceful. But the point is, you're still trying to take care of a person and you're still putting in the effort and you're still showing that, hey, I know that you deserve to be taken care of. I'm gonna do my personal best because I value you. You're important. You deserve this. I know you don't need it. I know you don't need it, but you deserve it. So I'm gonna try to give you what you deserve. Y'all are equals, that's very true. But a man paying is not actually really just about the money. It's about the effort. It's about the value that he sees you a certain way, and so he's gonna do whatever he can to try to treat you as how you deserve. Do your best within your budget. You know what I'm saying? Also date within your budget. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel very strongly on this topic. I will never waver on this topic. I will teach my daughters the same thing, and that's just that on that. Number three. I'm sure we could all relate to this one. Female friends, okay? If a dude has too many female friends, listen, I'm not gonna marginalize anyone. I'm not gonna categorize anyone. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just saying, sis, you might wanna run for the hills, because let me tell you something. What you see in someone, other people might see in someone. And the worst situation you want to be in is when you are competing with other people or getting cheated on by a sister, or somebody that was, you know, his best friend or whatever. Nobody has time for that. So I would just say cut your losses. It is a high risk situation that is very unlikely to pay off. That is not to say that every single solitary man out there who has female friends, or, you know, a plethora of female friends, you know, it's not to say that automatically makes him a cheater, or that he's a liar, or, you know, or that, you know, maybe he has something going on. But I would say, yeah, I've seen it pan out really wrong way too many times. I would say run for the hills, don't look back. Don't you look back. Ooh, I got a good one. I got a real good one. Okay, number four in the red flag list is reliability. My dad always used to tell me, which I'd never got until I was older, my dad always used to tell me that a real man does what he says he'll do. Which sounds really, really simple, but I never really fully got it until well into my 20s. Actually, you know, I'm not that old, so recently I understood it. But, like, if a guy tells you, I'm gonna pick you up at 6, he's never on time, I'm gonna call you back, and he never called you back, we're gonna go, I'm gonna take you to Miami, and he never takes you to Miami, one day I'm gonna buy you those shoes, and he never buys you those shoes, one day we're gonna go do this, and if he's a one day ass dude, let me tell you, run. Because if he has already laid the pattern of saying he's gonna do things and not doing it, you already know he's not a reliable person. Sometimes when you use the word reliable, people think of things like, if I ever really needed him and I was straight on the side of the road, he would definitely come get me. If I was ever in a really bad situation, he would help me. That's not what I'm talking about. In a relationship, you should be able to constantly, consistently rely on, big and small, your mate. the person that you're dating or whatever, if you are giving your body and giving your time and your energy and your feelings and your emotions and maybe even your money to a person, you need to make sure that that person is someone who you can rely on. It's a huge red flag if in the beginning of your dating or your courting or whatever, that every time he said he's gonna do something, he don't do it. Like, it's just the beginning, sis. So what you think is gonna happen down the road? If he can't even start out on his best behavior in the beginning, if the first 6 months he's already exhibiting this, or even less, the first date, second date, third date, if he's already exhibiting those type of behaviors and traits, it's not going to get better as time goes on. It's going to probably more likely than not get significantly worse as time goes on. Okay, from my personal experience, I think that the first year, yes, whole year, not 6 months, year, maybe even 2 years, or like a year and a half, is the honeymoon phase of the relationship. That's when people are on their best behavior. They're really holding it together and putting their best foot forward and whatever. After the 1 year, year and a half, maybe max 2 year mark, that's when they start letting go a little bit. They start getting comfortable. They start, not putting in all of the fake ass effort that they were putting in prior to that. So that's when you start really seeing the true, what they really about. But if you can catch things early on, you can save yourself a lot of headache. I'm trying to tell you, sis, I've been there. I've done it. I'm not speaking out of the sky. I'm speaking from experience. I'm trying to save you. All right, on to number 5. Number 5 is poor communication, okay? If you are constantly reaching out to him, having to text him first, having to call him first, having to call him back, having to ask him to do stuff, to ask him to go out on dates. If you're constantly having to go to him or ask him what he's doing, ask him where he's at, if he has poor communication, okay, and he don't understand, if he don't do this, then you do this, sis. Or maybe even he does, text you, what are you doing? And, maybe he does communicate in that sense. But let's say maybe your communication styles don't match. Like, let's say he has poor communication in the sense that he don't know how to talk to you. He don't know how to say what he got to say. Sometimes people can be good people and nice people, but if your communication styles are not compatible, or maybe one person has really poor communication and one person doesn't, or maybe you both do, it could just be a disaster. So if you notice from the beginning that, like, every time maybe he tells you some criticism about yourself or whatever, but he says it in a really nasty way, or it's like a really offensive way, or maybe when he gets mad, he instantly goes into just disrespectful mode, just cut your losses. Like I said, in the beginning of a relationship, the early stages, there's no reason why you shouldn't be on your best behavior. It's the easiest time. It's unfortunate. I mean, people should be themselves out the gate. It would save everybody a lot of energy and effort and tears and heartache. But generally speaking, that's not the case. If you have recently started dating somebody and they're already showing you, they're really sweet most of the time, but when things get nasty, they are nasty. When things are good, they're good. But when they're bad, they are bad. Cut your losses. Huge red flag. All those little poor communication, disrespectful little things and stuff like that, if they're doing that early on, don't try to make excuses for it. I know that's easy to say and harder to do, but the more you make excuses for it, it's just gonna add up build into something bigger. It's just gonna end up hurting you more and more later and later down the road. The more you avoid cutting it off, the more you're gonna end up hurting yourself. Really. Honestly, that's all you're really doing. You're hurting yourself. At some point, you can't even be mad at the other person for hurting you or disrespecting you, or, maybe not communicating with you and not telling you what they're doing and whatever it is that you need. If y'all cannot communicate early on and you decide you're gonna keep going with the shit, and it's 6 months later, it's a year later, it's 2 years later, 5 years later, whatever, you can't really be mad at the other person because you saw the flags. You didn't like the communication up front. You didn't like the disrespect up front, but you dealt with it and you thought it was gonna get better, or whatever, you thought you could change it, or whatever the case might be. And then 5 years later, or 3 years later, 2 years later, you've wasted 2 or 3 years of your life with someone who wasn't compatible with you. So just take the red flag. Take it, rip it down, throw it in the trash, walk away. Ooh, okay, so my very, very last one. So number 6 red flag is he's asking you a bunch of questions, but he never tells you anything. So what I mean by that, a lot of girls will be like, he's so interested in me, he's so interested in what I'm doing and my life and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you a secret. A lot of the time when a guy is asking you a whole bunch of damn questions and learning a whole bunch about you, but not returning any of that, okay, you're not getting to know him, he's getting to know you. It's a red flag because a lot of time what these motherfuckers are doing is they are learning your weak points. They're learning more about you so that they can use it to their advantage. They might ask you stuff like, what's your biggest pet peeve in a relationship? What's the thing that bothers you most? What's this and that, okay? It's not just because they like you. A lot of time has nothing to do with that. A lot of time it's so that they can learn you and better navigate the situation in order to get what they want. Now that might be sex. That might be a relationship. That might be, you know, to make you their side joint. I mean, I don't know what it is, but just be cautious. If a guy asks you something like, what's your biggest pet peeve? Okay, what's your biggest pet peeve in a relationship? And you say something like, oh, like, I hate when a guy doesn't talk to me enough or hit me up enough or communicate, you know, like chit chat with me or text me throughout the day, right? Now, this guy knows that your romantic currency is constant communication, texting. Okay, so you know what? All right, I'm gonna hit her up. What you doing? I'm gonna hit you. Good morning. What are you doing? You're so beautiful. What you having for lunch? I'm gonna send her lunch. I'm gonna do this. Da, da, da. Now he knows already out the gate. Out the gate, he knows how he can manipulate you to get what he wants. Whatever, like I said, whatever that something might be. What he might actually want a relationship, but the point is, a person shouldn't be manipulating you into a relationship. Some people would think, oh, that's sweet that he wants to know what I like so he can give it to me, but that's not the way that works. A person should be being themselves, you should be being yourself, and then if it's a good match, then it's a good match. But it shouldn't be that a person is learning what you like so they can give you what you like to make you like them and to manipulate you into a relationship. Because usually what ends up happening is they manipulate you into the relationship. They're able to, you know, maintain that facade and, you know, keep up with the text and the this and the that and da 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 da, whatever. But if that's not their nature, eventually they will fall back slowly into the pattern of whatever is their nature. Their actual nature, not what they've been doing to manipulate you, but they'll fall back into their natural pattern. Maybe they're not a communicative person, but they were being super, super on top of it to make you love them and like them and want to be with them. 2 years later, you're wondering why he doesn't text you, he doesn't talk to you, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, because that was never who he was. It was never who he was from the beginning. Sometimes it's not always like a negative intention either. I don't think it's like malicious per se, but he was using what you said you wanted to get you. Then he got you. And eventually, he's like, well, I got her now. Like, I mean, that's not, and then it just slowly falls back into that pattern. So just beware. You know, a guy should definitely be asking you some questions on the date and should be trying to get to know you. But if they're asking like a lot of those type of questions, it's a red flag. Just be careful, okay? Just be careful and mindful that you should also be asking questions and he should also actively be giving you an answer. Don't just let a guy go on a date with you and he's listening to everything you're saying, but he's not giving you any information back, okay? All is fair in love and war. That's dramatic. But yeah, anyways, those are my 6 tips, my 6 red flags. Watch out, be careful, okay? Be on the lookout, sis. Be on the watch, because you already know, these dudes out here are crazy. Seriously though, if you like this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.